This TV and this thing. Oh, come on. Don't. No, you don't.
Hey, I'm Scott Firestone.
I'm Jeremiah Isley.
And we are
Theology of Games, guys.
and together in the same room, which doesn't happen very often.
At all. Like once or twice a year.
So we're taking this opportunity to record a video review of
The Duke!
The Duke from Catalyst Games.
Them Dukes.
I expected a John Wayne reference, and instead I get a Dukes of
The
Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard.
The Duke is an abstract game, and it's funny how often I go, I don't really like abstract games, and then
you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is from Catalyst Games. I can say that. Catalyst Game Labs. It's a 2-player game. It's abstract, and it's highly, highly strategic. And we're going to take a look at it. Let's do it. Should we take a look at it?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, let's go.
So every game of the Duke starts the same way, at least with the same starting pieces. You start with the Duke and 2 footmen. The Duke can be in either of these 2 spaces, and then the footmen have to be set up such that they're touching the Duke orthogonally in any way you want.
Not
Not
like
diagonally. You can start them off like that or like that, but that's how the game starts.
The basic turn of the game, you have 2 options. You can either move one of your pieces, and if you move it, you have to flip it, or you can draw a piece from your bag. And that's the game. Those are the 2 things that you do. When you move, there's just a few rules. You'll see there's like a grid on this. All of these solid dots are where this piece can move. You can't move where your guy is. If you move where someone else is, then you capture that piece. But you'll notice after you flip, your movement changes. And that's true for every piece in the game. When you flip over, there's a second set of movement options for that piece. So now this guy can actually move 2 spaces up. But if this guy was here, you wouldn't be able to move because he's blocking. So let's take a look real quick at some of the different pieces and how those work, and how there's a few different other abilities that they have on the tiles.
So the footman starts out like this. In fact, every piece shows you which side starts out. So the side that is the black pillar is the side that every piece starts as. And then when you move it, it flips to the other side with the white. So this one, the black dots are where it can move, and it can only move there if there's no piece blocking it. A filled-in space means it can move there as long as it's not blocked. Some of the pieces have a clear dot, which means that they could move there, and they can just basically jump over pieces if necessary.
Yep, the circles that are not filled in are jump spaces. So if there's something blocking you from your destination, you're able to jump over that. And you also capture whatever you jump onto. Not what you jump over. It's not checkers. You can't jump and capture something, but that will allow you to jump over an obstacle and conquer that. There's also, if you'll notice here on the Duke, there are arrows that you'll see on pieces, and those allow you to slide on the board. So the Duke can slide any number of squares in the direction of those arrows. And then when he flips, he's actually got another set of arrows that go the opposite direction, up and down as opposed to left and right. And then there are some that, like the assassin, where again, the arrows aren't filled in, they're just outlined. So that is actually a jump slide. So as you slide, you can jump over anything that's in your way to get to the destination that you're trying to get to. Another icon that you'll see on a tile is the strike. It's like this little star looking icon. And what the strike does on this is, instead of moving to attack or defeat a foe, you give it a strike command, and anything that's in one of those strike squares on that grid, you can just capture without having to move. You still have to flip the tile because you gave it a command, but you don't have to move it. And then the last one that we're going to look at that is in the base game is the command function. These are kind of hard to see a little bit. There's these little triangles in the corners of these squares. What the command function does is any of your friendly pieces that are in any one of these 3 squares that have that icon on can be moved to another one. Instead of moving this piece, you move the piece that's there to any of those pieces that are marked by that icon. So it gives you a little flexibility to leave this guy where you are. Maybe he's protecting your Duke, or you have him set up because you're trying to set up the other Duke, but you can still move a piece maybe out of where they wouldn't normally be able to move and capture something that's getting in your way or whatever. So it's a little finer of a point to the game, but it's still pretty useful. And there's only a couple tiles, the Marshal and the General, I believe, are the only two in the base game that have that.
That's it. So whenever somebody captures the other person's Duke, the game is over.
So yeah, that's the Duke. Move a tile, flip it, or draw a tile and place it next to your Duke on the board, wherever he is. And that's it. We're going to tell you what we thought about this game. Right about. What do we think about the Duke? Wow. It's simple. It's, dare I say, elegant. It's elegant. The replay value is so high, and it's fun. It is truly a meeting of the minds.
This game, you're drawing things out of the bag, so it's always different.
It's always different. And then when you move a piece, it doesn't move the same the next turn, so that changes. So you do have to plan ahead, because the moment you don't plan ahead, whammo. Really well made game too. The board is
not too big.
Not too big. It's a solid board. I actually took this on an airplane with me so I could play it mid-flight.
How'd that work out for you?
My wife slept the whole time, so I'll let you know when we fly back.
The pieces are awesome. They're nice, thick wood and
yeah, just hard, chunky. Thick wood tiles.
Hopefully these won't scratch off over time. I don't know. I
haven't
haven't seen it happen, but
they look like they're finished, like they're veneered or urethaned or something, so that might not be an issue. Although I did notice in my copy there was one piece that there was just a little bit of like a fading on one of the symbols. But I don't see that being a problem. They don't get a lot of heavy use through gameplay. Another thing they included, which was really cool, is there's a couple blank tiles, one for each color, each side, and they gave you a bunch of stickers that you could stick on and kind of create your own tile. So you could make it move certain ways, you could give it certain abilities. That I thought was pretty sweet.
And you can order extra blank tiles from the company, so you can
do whatever you want. They also added there's a mountain tile, and that just kind of goes on the board and is a mountain, so you can't jump over it because you're not Superman, I would assume.
Or have mountaineering skills.
Right, and you have to go around it to move around it. I did play a game with the mountain in it, and man, it really messes with you because it constricts the board even more. There's also some flag tiles that they put in, which are just a variation that you can play, like a capture the flag kind of thing. And then the dragon, who is an NPC, a non-player character, who shows up on the board, and if you throw one of your guys to him and enrage him, it kills your guy, and then he flips and goes berserk and starts just destroying and leaving a wake of damage and such. Yeah.
This game's cool. I like abstracts now. I'm done saying I don't really like abstracts because I keep proving myself wrong. This game is really good, really fun. I love that it's not chess and it's not perfect information. Everything's going to be, oh, I pulled this one, it's great. Oh, I pulled this one, it's terrible. But I'm going to try and figure out how can I best use that tile that I pulled, because this is where I'm at. This is the situation. I need to do this.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because a lot of times you would look at a game like this and go, oh man, it's so random because you don't know what you're going to pull, and you're going to be in such a bad situation if you pull the wrong tile. And certainly there are times where I felt that, where like, oh, that wasn't the tile I needed. But everything is so well balanced that even if you pull a tile that you didn't necessarily really want, you still have options with it, and it's still serviceable for the game. Rarely do you pull a tile and it just gets locked out of the game. It can happen, but it doesn't happen enough to break the game.
Or you might pull it and it's not that useful on this side, so you just have to move it and flip it to the other side where it becomes immensely helpful.
Right.
And there are lots of expansions already available. There's a Robert Howard expansion that has like Call the Conqueror and Conan and things like that. There's a Sherwood Forest, is that one of them? There are a bunch of different themed ones that people
all
just thought of ones and
yeah, and I think we talked about this. There's a ton of expansions for it, but it almost feels like you don't even need those. You could just play the base game, and there's so much variation. Every game's going to be different, but the same, and you're going to have the same experience. And you have to maneuver the game, but you're also just super, super trying to outwit your opponent. And I enjoyed that about it.
This is a game I would play with gamers. I would play with my family. I would play with non-gamers.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't matter what skill level, what experience level, if they're highly deep into the gaming genres, or if they have never even heard of Monopoly, you can put this on the table and just go. So I say put this game on your table because it's super awesome.
It's a solid game. Well done, Catalyst Game Labs.
Yes. Get this game, play this game, enjoy this game. That's Scott. I'm Jeremiah. Look us up online. Like, go find us on YouTube's. Well, you probably have if you're watching this. But find us on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. Let us know what you think of the Duke. We want to hear from you.
And we have a podcast. So
And a
go to
podcast.
iTunes and check it out.
So anyway, thanks for watching this video review of the Duke. Go get it, go play it, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you.